Hello dear viewers, welcome to this edition of the News in English with me, Serge Nori. I hope you're having a great weekend. Let us begin with the headlines. The 36th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the African Union is now taking place in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente has begun visiting different developmental projects in the eastern province of Rwanda. Thank you again for joining us. I'm glad you're able to. Let's begin with our top story. In Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, the African Union Summit has continued there with the heads of state and government convening. On the sidelines of this summit, President Paul Kagame of Rwanda held discussions with different dignitaries, including Charles Michel, the President of the European Council. Prince Manzi has the details on that.
The 36th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of the Heads of State and Government of the African Union tackles on different matters, including the security matters in different regions in Africa, and on different reports on development projects partnering between African nations. President Paul Kagame is expected to provide remarks on amendments in the African Union Commission. This was done for changing the functionality of the African Union with the aim of developing the continent and the population. Another report is on the activities of the Peace and Security Council and on the status of the peace and security on the African continent in general. On the sidelines of this summit, President Paul Kagame had discussions with different leaders, including Charles Michel, the President of the European Council, the Portuguese Prime Minister Antonio Costa, and the Ethiopian Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed. Before that, the President of the Republic of Rwanda participated in the launch of the Africa CDC Ministerial Executive Leadership Program, an initiative of Africa CDC to improve the planning and execution capacity of African health ministers. Here, President Paul Kagame said that health policies in Africa are to be established with the aim of saving lives and add value to the lives of the population. The President of the Republic of Rwanda, His Excellency Paul Kagame, points out that the ability for leaders at every level to get things done quickly and correctly has a huge impact on families and communities.
The ability for leaders at every level to get things done quickly and correctly has a huge impact on our families and communities. So I think it was long overdue to create a forum for peer learning amongst ministers of health and informing all of us. Many of you are medical doctors who have been thrust into management roles in large and complex institutions, coordinating people, budgets, and timelines. I know you are prepared for those roles as well. No one should take these skills for granted. I therefore congratulate the African Union and Africa CDC, as well as the Susan Thompson Buffett Foundation and other partners for putting this program in place. If it is successful, we may find that ministers in other sectors start asking the African Union for their own executive leadership training, which may not be such a bad thing.
This program, involving African health ministers, seeks to support public health leaders in acquiring advanced skills of strategizing, managing, and leading public health responses on the continent, and the provision of training for those in the health sector based on the experience of different member states. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
Now back here in Rwanda, Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente has begun visiting different projects in the eastern province, starting in Nyagatare and Gatsibo districts, where he visited an agri-commercial project geared towards the development of the agricultural sector that is operational in Nyagatare. The reservoir that was set up by the Gabiro Agribusiness Hub can hold up to 120,000 cubic meters of water In the first phase of this project, this water will be used for irrigation on an area of 5,600 hectares. And by the end of the project, irrigation will be done on an area of up to 16,000 hectares. The board chair of the Gabiro Agribusiness Hub has noted that this project comes with the necessary infrastructure that will greatly help local residents. The Prime Minister urged various institutions to assist residents without land documentations who are displaced due to this project, given that there are more than 200 people with such cases. Now, the dietitians and nutritionists are urging people here in Rwanda to be cautious when it comes to losing weight, because some methods being employed have been found to be dangerous health-wise, that is detrimental in effect. We have more in a detailed interview that comes to us courtesy of Olive Nete.
Hello, have you ever considered losing weight? If yes, what methods do you apply? Do you change your diet or do you do sports? Did you know that some methods for losing weight can negatively affect your life? Did you also know that extreme weight loss can have negative effects on your health? Today we are going to talk about weight loss, the effects of extreme weight loss, some of the techniques that you can use to lose weight, but which cannot affect your health negatively. Today we are with a guest. She's going to introduce herself, and then we shall proceed with our topic today about weight loss, about various effects of extreme weight loss, and so many others. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Leah Fiteyesu. I'm a nutritionist at NutriMed Plus Nutrition Cabinet.
Before going much into weight loss and effects that comes with extreme weight loss, what are some of the causes that can cause someone to gain weight?
When someone gains weight, it means that your energy intake, what we call energy intake, it's all about what we eat and what we drink. That's what combines energy intake. It's when your energy intake is greater than your energy expenditure. And energy expenditure, it's all about what you do with your body, physical activities, and what your body burns for metabolism, and so many others.
But before going into weight loss, when does your weight become a threat to your health?
We say that your weight is becoming an issue to your health when your body mass index, BMI, is greater than 30. That's when you hit to obesity, and that's when we start saying this is a problem for this body. When you are under 18.5, you are underweight. You have low weight comparing to your height. Then for the normal body mass index, you have to be between 18.5 to 24.9. That's where we can say you are in green, you are safe, you are healthy. And when your body mass index is greater than 25, from 25 to 29.9, 25 to 29.9, that's where you start with the overweight. You are in the yellow. You are not in green, you are not in red, but you are starting to be overweight.
Yes.
Then above 30, from 30 to 34.9, you are in the first phase of obesity or moderate obesity. 30 to 34.9, moderate obesity. Then for the severe obesity, it's above 35.
How much weight should someone lose? Or what is the maximum weight does someone have to lose?
You have to lose those extra weight you have from what you should be having. But we recommend to lose not more than 1 kg per week, 0.5 to 1 kg per week. It's a general rule, and you can lose up to 4 kg per month. And there are some exceptions. That's a general rule, but you can't say I will lose 4 kg. You need a nutritionist to help you lose those kg regarding to your age, if you are breastfeeding, if you are in adolescent, if you are, everyone is different from the other. But in the general rule, you can lose 4 kg per month, or 1 kg per week. Don't take every diet going around and like, I'm going to do this. And there are some diets which says like, do this in 9 days, you will be losing 15 kg, and it's not healthy. And especially for those who have other conditions, they can worsen it. You should be very strict when you want to lose weight.
So you talked on something that is really important, and I think we should discuss more about it. You say that various methods used in weight loss can cause various health conditions. What is the best method to use when someone is losing weight?
My approach as a nutritionist, try to minimize or avoid completely processed food. Try to eat the normal food. Second, see your energy intake and balance it with your energy expenditure. But for how you are eating, includes more vegetables and fruits. Because vegetables, they are very low in calories, but they are packed with vitamins, minerals, water. You can also have fruits, but mainly vegetables. We have those people who eat like a whole bunch of bananas and like, oh, I'm eating fruits, and you are gaining more sugars, even if it is simple sugars, but it's a lot. Then include carbohydrates, mainly complex carbohydrates. You can have like banana plantains, yams, cassava, maize, everything. A quarter of your plate can be proteins, like have a fish, white meat mainly, fish, chicken, small fishes, eggs, or you can have beans. It's also a good source of proteins. Beans, peas, groundnuts, soya products. Yeah, we do not recommend people to avoid oil. We recommend them to reduce it. Choose vegetable ones, but don't avoid it completely, because they help us to absorb those fat-soluble vitamins. Trying to increase your energy expenditure with trying to add some sport, your workout. You should be doing 150 minutes per week. 150 minutes, it means that you can do 30 minutes almost all of your days, or 50 minutes up to 1 hour, 3 times a week. But there are some people who says that, oh, I will be going on gym every day 2 hours. Be attentive. For the energy expenditure or working out has 20%. Its portion is 20%. But changing with what you eat is 80%. You can balance it with your energy intake.
If you're trying to lose weight, you may be having various diseases, or you may even be healthy without any diseases, but try to look for a nutritionist, or use some of the methods that was mentioned by the nutritionist. It is important to take care of your health. It is important to consider what you eat and how much sports you're doing, or what physical exercises that you're doing. Thank you very much for following us. Back to you in studio.
Thank you, Olive, for that. Now, moving on, those in Rwanda's judiciary have been stressing that the sector is more than capable of providing justice for all, which is why the general public should not be conned by those claiming to have influence on court rulings. Prince Manzi has the details on that.
Some of the citizens say that there are people naming themselves commissioners that approach them, saying that they will help them get justice.
Sometimes one faces an accident, and then they tell him that they will follow up on his case considering the insurance he has, and then you get your money. They stretch you out, and they sometimes add a group of people that will always ask you to accept the offer. Some sit in bars and plan on everything, on every case.
The Rwanda's Prosecutor General, Aimable Havugiyaremye, states that some of these deceitful people lie that they have connections with the justice sector personnel, and hence they can help the citizens to get justice. They take advantage of these citizens and refer themselves as commissioners. There's one of them that was taken into custody but later escaped justice. He used to come into courts or in other sectors and tell the citizen with him that he is going to see the prosecutor, and enters and doesn't even see him, and when he comes back, he tells the citizen that I'm done, yet lying. We placed measurements of fighting this as we are doing for corruption cases. The President of the Supreme Court of Rwanda, Dr. Faustin Ziryayo, reiterates that the concern is that they are the so-called commissioners in the justice sector. The information I got is that there are commissioners that are advocates, court secretaries and researchers that, yes, work in the justice sector, and says I'll be the intermediary to the judges that will make the decision. And I say this because people are corrupt but discreetly, and it is difficult to find evidences. And these commissioners do it discreetly. The President of the Supreme Court of Rwanda, Dr. Faustin Ziryayo, states that the population should understand that there is no intermediary between them and the government levels. We all have a mandate of serving Rwandans. There is no reason of someone to pass through an individual in order to access the public services, and that to be provided free of charge. Levels in charge, including the Investigation Bureau, should follow up on these people and penalize them. The justice sector personnel state that anyone who feels that her right has been denied has to approach these sectors for justice. When corruption is involved, it has negative impacts on the country's social welfare, including violation of human rights, obstructing the country's development, and giving room to major crimes. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
Now to regional matters. Historians and experts in diplomacy attribute a lack of political will as the basis of the continued genocidal ideologies that have persisted in this region due to the colonial history of the Great Lakes region. These experts reiterate that there is evidence that the killings being perpetrated against the Kinyarwanda-speaking Congolese nationals in the DRC are genocidal acts. Prince Manzi continues.
Different articles and researchers demonstrate that the genocide ideology is the basis of political instability in the eastern DRC, and unproven facts include the presence of militias such as the FDLR, consisting of perpetrators of the genocide against the Tutsi. According to Ambassador Joseph Mutaboba, a diplomatic expert, the current genocide ideology is based in colonial history.
The kind of ID they created then, which was refined by the post-colonial authorities, who were trying to excel better than the Belgians, the colonizers, they tried to say, let's enhance the differences between people, artificial differences. And it is the same ID cards which were used to determine whom to kill and whom to spare. So the result was, in 1994, the genocide against the Tutsis was consumed. But it did not stop there. People crossed over into Congo when the RPF army, the RPA, stopped the genocide. So the ex-FAR, the former government's army, and the militia crossed, or were rather escorted across the border into Congo, and they have never stopped. So they continued to think of genocide, how to kill a Tutsi. We continue. We have not finished. We have to reorganize and go back and finish the job. But they were told in the meantime, they said, oh, no. We continue to hear, because there were Tutsis also there. So the victims of genocide continue to be increasing in the Congo.
Receiving genocide perpetrators in the Democratic Republic of Congo is not due to lack of awareness of the aftermath of the genocide ideology, but rather having the same take on the acts as explained by Jean-Baptiste Gasominari, a law expert. It is not lack of awareness on the history, but rather not being interested or not touched by that history, because the perpetrators were received not as genocidaires, and they share everything, which is evident that they share the genocide ideology. As the war started in DRC, the hate speeches, as you know, were introduced by leaders and spread across the population to the extent that it is easy to do genocide, as the government agrees. These experts emphasize that eradicating the genocide ideology is possible, but there is lack of the political will on the Democratic Republic of Congo side.
There is a strong need for political will all over. It's not a joke, no, because there are some people who don't take it seriously. It's happening now. They are killing people in the Congo. The Tutsis, the Banyamulenge are killing in the south. The Tutsis are being killed in North Kivu. The Hemas are being killed in Ituri. It cannot continue just like this. In a region where people say we need cooperation and we need to be one. And we need a united Africa. So you cannot do it without starting from home. And I believe that what's going on in Congo should be a lesson for everybody on the continent. Once it starts, it's very difficult to stop it. So it's better we start it early, to teach people, as we did in Rwanda, to teach them about the bad side of this genocide ideology and the consequences of bad leadership.
The United Nations expert report on the Eastern DRC crisis, leaked last year, requested the DRC government to stop the spreading of hate speeches as it leads to extermination of some residents and could possibly lead to genocide against a part of the DRC population. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
As always, we are glad you are able to join us for this edition. I hope you have a great weekend ahead of you. Goodbye.